And we're now getting you those pictures of India and France signing the 63,000 crore deal for 26 Rafale-M jets for the Indian Navy. The Rafale-M jets that are considered among the most capable fighters of its class in the world and is only operated at the moment by the French Navy. The official deal that is being signed, as you see in those pictures that are streaming live, India signing a 63,000 crore deal to buy 26 Rafale-M fighter jets from France, set to dominate the skies from the aircraft carriers INS Vikrant and INS Vikramaditya. These advanced jets that will bolster India's maritime power, countering threats in the Indian Ocean. The Rafale-M, that is widely considered among the most capable fighters of its class in the world, currently only operated by the French Navy. India set to sign that key deal, as the agreement includes 22 single-seater Rafale-M jets and 4 twin-seater trainers, with deliveries starting in a few years and expected to be completed by 2031. 6 years from now, when it'll all be done, Rafale-M jets that will operate from INS Vikrant and INS Vikramaditya, replacing the aging MiG-29K fleet, cutting across to Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor, joining us with further details on this key deal. Abhishek.
Well, so the deal is being signed as we speak, Swesha, and agreement for which had already been reached. Remember, when Prime Minister was there earlier in the year, in the month of February in France, on the sidelines of the AI summit that was hosted by French President Emmanuel Macron. The deal had been building up for a while, in fact, through the CNC, the Cost Negotiation Committee, and before that, the trials, etc. Everywhere, the Rafale Marine version came up trumps in all through the motions that the Navy put the fighter jet to. It's a 4.5 generation aircraft, as of now, only used by the French naval forces. And so, in a way, that would be a big differentiator for the Indian Navy. We have, remember, 2 aircraft carriers, INS Vikrant and INS Vikramaditya, and both would now have Rafale Marines that would be replacing the aging MiG-29Ks that have been essentially the mainstays of India's aircraft carriers. It's a big booster to India's Navy. It's a substantial upgrade to India's blue water capacity. Just for the benefit of viewers, there is a brown water Navy like the Pakistan Navy, and then there is a blue water Navy, which is like the Indian Navy. The differentiator is because of our aircraft carriers and the carrier strike group that goes with an aircraft carrier, you can project naval power and air power through the aircraft carriers much beyond your shores. So the aircraft carriers can travel, say, 5,000 kilometers, 10,000 kilometers, and project our power there, and that's why it's called a blue water Navy. So with the coming in of Rafale Marines, the agreement for which is being signed as of now, and these are the pictures coming in from the ceremony. And in a while, we will have statements from both the sides, India being represented by the Defense Secretary and the French side by the French Ambassador. And of course, the OEMs signing the original equipment manufacturers signing on the side of the French, the Dassault company, and on the side of India, the Joint Secretary. Essentially, it's a government-to-government agreement cutting through the general issues that are there with typical defense deals where multiple layers of profiteering, multiple layers of kickbacks go in, cutting all through that, like in the case of Rafales for the Indian Air Force, so in the case of Rafale Marines for the Indian Navy, the government has chosen the government-to-government deal straight up with the French government, so that there are no issues whatsoever in terms of costs, which can lead to questions being raised. Not that the earlier Rafale deal was above politicking. We saw Rahul Gandhi really making it a campaign in 2017 in Gujarat, then 2019 in the general elections. Obviously, had to stop only after Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party got a rap on their knuckles from the topmost court of the country, the matter having landed before the Supreme Court. Having said that, coming back to the present deal, like in the case of Rafales for the IAF, so in the case of Rafale-Ms for the Indian Navy, these are built for specifically for the Indian requirements, Indian specifications. They are India-specific enhancements that are built into the Rafales. Apart from that, of course, the cutting edge of a 4.5 generation aircraft. Remember, the approval for this deal had come in way back in February, subsequent to which we had seen even the Cabinet Committee on Security giving the final nod. Though, of course, by the time the 26 Rafales for which this deal is being signed come in, it would be a few years, possibly 5-6 years. But the first one would be coming in a couple of years, possibly by 2017 end or 2028. I beg your pardon, 2027 end or 2028. But nevertheless, this is going to be an absolute force multiplier insofar as India's blue water navy capacity is concerned.
Absolutely, Abhishek. Also keeping in mind the escalating tension between India and Pakistan, do you think this deal is going to be a game changer for India somewhere in the near future?
Well, so we know the timelines. The deal is being signed now. And it was in the making for a couple of years. In fact, the first time the Defense Acquisition Council or the committee really raised the requirement and approved the proposal from the Navy to acquire these 26 Rafale Marines was sometime in mid-2023. So we are already looking at mid-2025, taking 2 years to sign the deal. Another 2 to 3 years before the first of those Rafales comes in. The combination is out of the 26 Rafales, 4 are twin-seater trainer aircrafts and 22 are single-seater fighter jets that would be integrated with either INS Vikrant or Vikramaditya. But insofar as our immediate standoff with Pakistan is concerned, obviously that's beyond the pale of this particular deal, except for the fact that Pakistan gets a message that India is building muscle in a manner that Pakistan cannot match. In fact, if you look at the conventional superiority that's talked about between Indian armed forces and the Pakistani armed forces, it's in the Navy that with the naval forces that the conventional superiority is most marked and absolutely clear, almost with a comparison of or a ratio of 1:3. So if Pakistan has, say, about 190 odd warships, small ones mostly, and some submarines, I think 8 submarines, India has about 600 of those warships, big frigates, corvettes, and missile destroyers, and 18 submarines to Pakistan's 8. We have 2 aircraft carriers. Pakistan has none. So in terms of our naval superiority, it's the most visible and most imposing in terms of the 3 armed forces. So Pakistan need not, be told more about our naval competence in terms of deterring any move by the Pakistanis in the Arabian Sea. But having said that, we saw yesterday, for example, some muscle flexing coming in from Indian Navy with our warships practicing operational readiness with the use of BrahMos missiles. Again, hypersonic 5 Mach plus missile, to which Pakistan has no answer to. So obviously, when it comes to use of war machine, Pakistan is no match, and that's why we are seeing them really going crazy with the kind of statement that's been coming in. But this deal is absolute force multiplier in terms of our capacity to project far beyond the immediate shores and making Indian Navy an absolute cutting-edge 4.5 generation blue water Navy.
Well, absolutely, Abhishek. It is indeed a big move. The deal, remember, is being signed by the Defense Secretary and members of the French firm Dassault Aviation. Thank you very much, Abhishek, for sharing those updates. We've also been joined by Wing Commander Praful Bakshi. Wing Commander Praful Bakshi, it is a huge move. Mega Rafale jet deal that India has signed with France. How do you see this move in accordance with the escalating tensions between India and Pakistan?
Thank you very much. The tensions have been escalating between India and Pakistan. There is no doubt about it. But the Rafale deal is a very old deal. It started before this tension mounted up. Of course, the Rafale will add to the fighting punch of the Navy. But we must understand behind buying of this fleet air-arm aircraft is that whenever there is a war or the Navy goes to war, and if Navy does not have air cover, the defeat is imminent. Because without air cover, any fighting force, whether Army or Navy, is bound to get annihilated. That is why it is very important. So we started up, we with Vikrant, INS Vikrant in 60, and we took part in the war of the 71 war. They did very well. And thereafter, now the aircraft carriers are improved and increased, and we now are buying Rafale. Now, Rafale is bought for Air Force as well as Navy. And this adds to the, employability of the aircraft and the equipment, because the commonality of aircraft, equipment, pilot, engineers, etc., it becomes a very good deal. And Rafale is a very fine aircraft with most advanced weapon. And very soon the BrahMos missile will be married onto it, and it will give more lethality. It has got a number of cruise missiles on it can carry and can operate in mountains as well as in any terrain. So this is a very all-weather fighter, all-terrain fighter, and that is why it is very good. It had a punch. 22 fighter for the Navy and 4 trainer aircraft, which will not land on the aircraft carrier. And this deal is very good. By the way, French have offered to transfer the deal also, and the engine technology too. That again is very good.
Right, Praful Bakshi, thank you very much for sharing those details. I'm also being joined by retired Captain D.K. Sharma. Captain D.K. Sharma, thank you very much for speaking to Republic. Now, the agreement, the India-France Rafale deal that has been sealed today, the agreement is also strengthening the India-France strategic ties with the potential for, of course, future cooperation and technology transfer. How do you see this move?
Well, good afternoon. This is a long-awaited deal which is now getting signed, or which has got signed today. And with this, India is going to get 22 fighters, which will be on board INS Vikrant, which was, if you all remember, it was commissioned on 2nd September 22. And it's been almost 3 years now that the carrier was moving without its own wolf pack, which means its own complement of fighters. So it's a very, very, very important and a significant move. And let me tell you, this is the costliest deal of acquisitions which the Indian Navy is undertaking now. Almost 63,000 crores. And with this, a lot of other things are going to come in, that we are going to be having MRO, that is maintenance and repair organization, which is going to have a huge impact on our defense infrastructure and ecosystem in the country. Also, the threat from our adversaries, it's increasing by the day, and it's only a matter of time when the Chinese carriers will start making foray into Indian Ocean region. So this was a necessity. I'll say it was very, very vital, and the government has moved very, very swiftly, and it is in record time that this deal has been signed today, and it's only a matter of time that these aircraft will start coming. Now, how many will come when? These timelines will be made very clear in the times to come. So 22 fighters for Vikrant, 4 for training at Goa, and we already have a SBTF over there. So, and also our pilots are doing some kind of training with the Air Force, which had taken 2 squadrons of Rafale from France in the recent past. So that is how the things are moving, and it's a very great move, and it will certainly make the Indian Navy more potent and more significant in this part of the world.
Right, Captain D.K. Sharma, thank you very much for speaking to Republic and sharing your insights on that. So these are the visuals that we have for you, where India has signed a 63,000 rupees crore deal to buy 26 Rafale-M fighter jets from France. Now, it is all set to dominate the skies from the aircraft carriers INS Vikrant and INS Vikramaditya. Now, these advanced jets will bolster India's maritime power, countering threats in the Indian Ocean. Remember, this is a key deal that comes in accordance, especially at a time when there are heightened tensions between India and Pakistan. The Rafale-M is widely considered among the most capable fighters of its class in the world, and it's only operated presently by the French Navy. So the agreement that has been signed includes 22 single-seater Rafale-M jets and 4 twin-seater trainers, with deliveries starting in a few years and expected to be completed by the year 2031. All right, so we learned that the Rafale-M jets will operate from INS Vikrant and INS Vikramaditya, replacing the aging MiG-29K fleet. Now, the French defense minister, who was supposed to be present, will not be in India, and this is the deal that has already been signed remotely. The deal is signed by the defense secretary and members of the French firm Dassault Aviation. Now, the aerospace firm is expected to integrate Indian missiles such as Astra, supporting India's self-reliance goals. All right, GD Bakshi, Major General GD Bakshi is with us on the phone line. General GD Bakshi, it is a big move that India has finally sealed. The Rafale-M jet deal has been signed for nearly 26 Rafale jets. How do you see this move, especially at a time when the tensions between India and Pakistan is heightening and India is looking to strike back at Pakistan?
Most timely deal. A long-awaited deal. We've already got 36 Rafales with the Air Force. This is the 26 Rafales for the Indian Navy, for our aircraft carrier. Long overdue. We hope more Rafales will come in. We were hearing of a deal that we might even have 120 Rafales more, with about 100 being manufactured in the country. Those are the media speculations. If that happens, it would be a wonderful, wonderful shot in the arm for the Indian Air Force. And right now, these weapons are most needed. We are seeing the clouds of war gather over South Asia like they had. I'd seen them last like this only in 1971. So we are certain there will be a response, a kinetic military response to the dastardly carnage in Pahalgam. It is long overdue. We need to give it back and hit them as hard as possible. The Rafales will be a great, great help.
Right, General GD Bakshi, thank you very much for staying with us and sharing your views on that. We're also being joined by Group Captain V.N. Jha, retired Group Captain V.N. Jha. Captain V.N. Jha, thank you very much for speaking to Republic. Now, India has signed a 63,000 crore Rafale jet deal with France. How do you see this as a game-changer move?
Very good afternoon to you. Look, it was overdue. Although I have been associated with the design and development of the LCA, and we have also developed LCA Navy. But I think there are some small hiccups, some more value additions that LCA needs to go on the aircraft carrier. So in this regard, Rafale was very much suitable there, Rafale Marine. And talks have already been going on for a fairly long time, and I welcome it. There are two more factors which are required to be taken into consideration. One, that Rafale Navy is the one which is the medium combat aircraft, which will be a force multiplier for the Indian Navy, because wherever aircraft carrier goes, about 1,500 kilometers from there, it will be its reach to strike at the enemies and to create own safety zone. Secondly, we already have Rafale with our Indian Air Force. By and large, the system is okay. There are some changes in the airframe, some small changes in the engines. And of course the landing gear. Barring that, by and large, the system is the same. So if some systems, some subsystems of Rafale are being developed here in India, that would be very, very welcome. And if two aircrafts of the same company with the same configurations are available, it becomes so much easier. Training becomes easier, maintenance becomes easier, even the changeover from one aircraft to other aircraft, that becomes easier. And the most important, the ammunitions, the MOs being used in Rafale Air Force and Rafale Marine will be near identical. Of course, there will be some more added things into the Rafale Marine, which takes care of its looking at the depth of the sea, what is hiding somewhere. But I very much welcome here because it was overdue. 26 Rafale for the Navy is very much required. It has to go there. And our MiG-29K, which was on the earlier aircraft carrier, is also now slightly getting aged there in that. So that also will have to be replaced. Of course, again, I repeat that since I was a scientist in one of the systems development of the LCA, so I would be very keen in case of the LCA Navy that comes back to any of the aircraft. But having said that, the Rafale is the need of the hour for the day. It's very much required, and I really compliment Indian government to have taken this decision. But there is a caution. Just now I was hearing General Bakshi that it is the war crowds are going on. No, it doesn't happen that way. Rafale, if it is being signed today, there will be many process before the procurement order will be placed. And after the procurement order is placed, there will be at least gestation period of at least 2 to 3 years before the delivery starts. That we have already seen in the Rafale Air Force. So that has to be kept in the mind. Rafale being signed today doesn't come to the aircraft carrier tomorrow. It is not the OTS equipment off the shelf. It has to be, after the order, there will be price negotiations. There will be many other process which has to go into the writing, into the signature, and then order will be placed for the requisite number. There has to be a maintenance agency who have to be kept in place because Rafale 26 only we are buying. It has to be ensured that more than 75% of the aircrafts are operational all the time.
Right. Group Captain V.N. Jha, thank you very much for talking to Republic and sharing your views. I'm also being joined by retired Major General Shashi Asthana. Shashi Asthana, now the strategic move that India has aimed at, we learned that the Rafale-M jets are expected to enhance India's maritime strength in the Indo-Pacific region. And this comes at a very crucial time when India is looking back to striking hard at Pakistan. How do you see this move of the Rafale jets being signed? It's the largest Rafale jet deal that India has signed.
It's a long overdue requirement because we need state-of-the-art aircrafts. So, and we also need the aircrafts for the new aircraft carrier. So these 26 Rafales are basically for that aircraft carrier, which we need urgently. There is no doubt about it. And Pakistan has some 4.5 generations and aircraft, and Chinese are thinking of supplying them the 5th generation. So we certainly need more than 4 generations. The MiGs and all, they were all 4th generation aircraft. So therefore, an upgrade is required. And as was mentioned very rightly, it will have to be doctored as per the requirements of the Navy. More important thing is, there is no doubt that even if Rafale deal is signed now, it will take quite some time for aircraft to actually materialize. But notwithstanding that, it's a morale booster. It does indicate the intention of India and need to upgrade.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Major General Shashi Asthana, for speaking to Republic. We quickly shift our focus to other breaking news coming in. And this